Shalom. I'd like to start out by giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, or Chakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of Israel. This is Thamayim in Atlanta, and I've got this article pulled up. It's from VOA. It says Iran backs Iraqi call to end presence of U.S.-led force. And so both Iran and Iraq are joining forces to get these Westerners, these Edomites, out of their lands and out of their territories. And you can see the picture here. Two swords as the military is parading down with all their armored vehicles and tanks. But don't actually see any tanks. But a military parade, which is coming back. I'm seeing more and more military parades because it is a time of war. We're coming into a time of war. And so it says Iran on Monday threw its weight behind calls for neighboring Iraq to oust the U.S.-led anti-jihadi coalition from its territory after a U.S. strike killed a pro-Iran commander in Baghdad. And I remember seeing that happen and wondering if this is when Iran is going to actually start doing something, but hasn't happened yet. We'll see, though. I did just see that they, a ship that the U.S. took from Iran last year, they just reconfiscated it today in the Gulf of Oman. They actually had armored guys commandeer this boat, which is theirs, so it's really not a problem. But they're about to start rising up. But it says regarding Iraq and the actions that the American government took recently, the Iraqi government has clearly announced its position. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Nasser Kanani told a press conference, Iran is confident that its neighbor has the ability, strength, and authority necessary to maintain security on its territory alone, Kanani said. We have repeatedly expressed our views to the authorities of the countries of the region, including Iraq, and declared that the presence of American forces in any form whatsoever would not help to maintain stability and peace, he said. And it's true. America moves into places not to stabilize it, but to destabilize it. And they bring their democracy and their feminism and their alphabet lifestyles and their Western culture, which they try to hold up like it's morally superior and it's a force of good, but it's all evil. These are all things that metastasize and grow, these evils that they bring with them through their philosophies. It's all nothing Western, it's good. It says the Pentagon said Monday it was not currently planning to withdraw its roughly 2,500 troops from Iraq. Despite Baghdad's announcement last week, it would begin the process of removing the U.S.-led military coalition from the country. Right now, I'm not aware of any plans to plan for withdrawal. We continue to remain very focused on the defeat ISIS mission, Air Force Major General Patrick Ryder told a news briefing, using an acronym for Islamic State. He added that the U.S. forces are in Iraq at the invitation of its government. And that is a bold-faced lie. Says Ryder said he was also unaware of any notification by Baghdad to the Department of Defense about a decision to remove U.S. troops and referred reporters to the U.S. State Department for any diplomatic discussions on the matter. U.S. drone strike Thursday, so it's actually last Thursday, killed a military commander and another member of Harakat al-Nujaba, a faction of Hashid al-Sha'abi, a collection of mainly pro-Iran former paramilitary units now integrated into Iraq's armed forces. And so they killed a guy who supports Iran. And, it's not the first Iranian, high up Iranian, that has been killed within recent years. I remember Soleimani at the start of 2020, and then there's been a few others. And Iran is yet to do anything, as well as these other Middle Eastern nations. They haven't done anything. They keep talking and keep talking, and they need to officially do something. And they will, because it's prophecy. They are prophesied to join forces with Russia and go against the West. And they will. I even just saw today that a ship, a big, I guess it's a cargo ship. I don't want to say that, but it's a big ship that was confiscated by the U.S. in the Gulf of Oman about a year ago. Iran just actually reconfiscated it. They took it back. They had armed men on there, and they got their property back. And so, Lord willing, that's the beginning of them going towards more action, because I want World War III to hurry up and get started. But let's go ahead and get into the scriptures. We're going to go straight to 2nd Esdras 15 and verse 28. And it says, "Behold, a horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east." Not the Middle East, but the East. As Elder Malcolm says, it's actually Western Asia. And that makes too much sense. It says, "Where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots." And those dragons of Arabia, all those different nations are going to start coming together to fight against their common enemy. They're going to come out with all their tanks. I see them with motorcycles in the deserts, their armored vehicles, with their jets. They're going to come out completely prepared for battle. And it says, "And the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth." They're going to be doing it with the quickness, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. And a unified Western Asia, or unified Arab coalition, would be a frightful thing, especially to the West. It says, "Also the Carmanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood." And the Carmanians are the modern day Iranians. It used to be called Persia, and before that it was Carmania. But modern day it's Iran. And they're going to join forces. They're actually different people. If I'm recalling correctly, the Iranians, the Persians, are actually Elamites. And those Arabians, even though Arab means mixture, they are primarily from Ishmael. And of course, meaning mixture, there's some other nations mixed in within there, mainly Elam. But it says, "And with great power shall they come and join battle with them." So you can see there's already some alliances being formed between the Elamites and the Ishmaelites, or between Iran and Iraq, "and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians." That's referring to the U.S., because the U.S., which is modern day Babylon, it's a culmination of all of the, or not all, but a lot of the empires from the past. So sometimes it's referred to as Egyptians, sometimes Babylonians, sometimes Sodom, sometimes Assyria. But it's speaking of the U.S. And it says, "And then shall the dragons have the upper hand." Those Arabian dragons, those Ishmaelites, remembering their nature. And in Genesis chapter 16, it describes Ishmael as a wild man, saying he will live in the midst of his brethren, and his hand shall be on every man, and every man's hand upon him, because they're wild people. That's why you have all those jihads and all those S bombings, and they're wild. That's their nature. And if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them. So breathing together, all working together in an alliance. It says, then these shall be troubled blood, and keep silence through their power, and shall flee. And from the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them, and consume some of them. And in their host shall be fear and dread, and strife among their kings. And so it's prophesied for those nations over there to come together, and even more in Ezekiel chapter 38 it speaks of Persia and Egypt and Ethiopia all coming together under Gog and Magog, which is Russia. And yeah, they're gonna get to spilling blood. And so, Lord willing, that was edifying. I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, or Chakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom.